Howdy folks, I'm Brian, and here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Putting a Picture of My Stepmom in My Locket? My mom bought me a locket when I was born. I was 5 when I started wearing it. She died when I was 8, and I started wearing it all the time. She put a picture of her and Dad in it so I could carry them with me wherever I was. She even wrote a letter talking about it before she died that I have read a million times since. My dad married my stepmom when I was 10, and when I was 13, she gave me a photo of herself to put in the locket. I told her I didn't want to put it in there, that it was just for my parents. Over the years, the discussion has come up. Both her and my dad want her to have her picture in the locket, but I never have added her. Before now, the last time it was brought up was when I got married 2 years ago because my grandmothers were admiring it and people commented that it was a way to carry my mom with me on that day, which is how I saw it. It came up now because I'm pregnant, and my husband bought me a mom locket that matches and goes nicely with the locket that my mom bought me, and my mother-in-law was looking at the pictures inside, and once she left, my stepmom brought up the fact that her picture wasn't in it and wanted to know why. And she wanted to know if I would feel differently if she were willing to pay to have the extra space to put her photo. I said no, and I was honest that I wanted to keep it just my parents. She told me she felt disrespected and disregarded, and that 17 years of knowing me and 8 of being a parental figure in my home should make her parent enough to be included. My dad told me I should care, that this is hurting her, and he told me I could do it for her and feel good about myself knowing that she feels loved by my action. I told him that if it was so important to him, that he could have always bought a second locket and put a picture of himself and her in it if he wanted. But I wanted to keep the one my mom bought me, just the 2 of them, because while I consider her my step-parent, they have a special place that she doesn't. Am I the jerk? All right, OP. Honestly, I don't think that you're the jerk in this situation. I do understand where your stepmom is coming from here. She probably feels hurt and offended that she's not included in this special gesture, but we can't always get what we want out of life, and this is something that's very special to you, and you're trying to preserve it in a special way. And I don't understand why it's such an obsession for your stepmom to be included in this. It seems to me that any person who is looking at this, would realize and understand that this is more about sentiment than anything. It's nice. The thing is, your stepmom is going to be there for you for a while. And, the thing is that your mom isn't there anymore. This is the way you are able to carry her around. And that's a really sweet gesture. And I think that's really nice. I think your stepmom is feeling jealous. Maybe she's feeling hurt. Maybe she doesn't feel like you'll ever accept her as your real mom. And those things aren't necessarily true, probably from your point of view. You probably love your stepmom a lot and you really appreciate that she's been in your life. But the thing is that no one can, replace that, wound that you have. No one can fill that wound that you have of losing your mom at such a young age. And as much as you love your stepmom, which I'm sure you do, she is just, will never be able to feel that same sentiment. I think that's a really fair place for you to be at. And I think that if your stepmom has such a hard time with this, that she really needs to take some time to be introspective and understand why she feels so hurt by this. So, yeah, that's kind of my feeling here. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. How out of touch can your father and stepmother be? She gets to be alive and in your life, something your mother can't have. There is no reason on earth you can't have one precious thing that doesn't include your stepmom. Yeah. Not the jerk. First off, a locket typically has room for 2 photos. In essence, she's asking you to remove a photo and add hers. I would assume your mom's photo, which is weird and disrespectful because she gave it to you, and even left you a letter about it. You'd think, after what sounds like many years of no's, that they would take a hint. Plus, your solution makes total sense. It's strange that they never provided a second locket with photos of them instead of asking you to change one that clearly has a significant personal value as a gift from your mother. Wild. This next letter was requested by Signity. So thanks for posting this one in the comments. The link to it got deleted. YouTube is very bad about deleting comments. Like, I don't even get a chance to approve or disapprove a lot of comments. But you know what? I do get a chance to approve and disapprove. The clear spam comments that pollute my feed every single day. I get like 10 spam messages a day that are clearly redirecting people to adult websites that I have to manually go in and be like, no, this is spam. But, oh, yeah, someone who comments on my feed regularly and posts the link, no, they must be spam. YouTube is wild, I swear. Alright, this letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Fiancé to Clean the House More Often? Recently, I, a 31-year-old female, got into a big argument with my fiancé, a 32-year-old male. My fiancé only helps out with the cleaning on weekends since that's when he's not working. He argued with me that I should be doing the majority of the cleaning since I'm not working right now, and he works nearly 12 hours a day plus pays the bills. However, it's not like I'm sitting around doing nothing all day. I do things like walk the dog, starting personal projects like a garden for myself, I work out, etc. And well, before you know it, the day is already over, so I don't have the time to clean until the weekend as well. I want to split the cleaning 50-50, whereas he thinks I should be doing more since he's supporting us financially and working long hours. So am I the jerk? I haven't spoken to my fiancé since our argument, since neither of us are willing to. Edit. Alright, per the sub rule, I'll accept that I'm a jerk in this situation. Truthfully, I don't think I'm one, but whatever, I'm not allowed to make my case apparently. Funny enough, I was going to show my fiancé this thread because I thought the comments would be more nuanced, but not anymore. I've received messages from 3 people telling me that I'm not the jerk, but they didn't want to comment because they didn't want to get downvoted. If 3 people can see my perspective, then it's clear that I'm not 100% at fault here either. Just saying. I'll be talking with my fiancé tonight, and I'm going to settle this once and for all. Instead of a 50-50, I'll compromise with a 60-40 split, and we'll see what he says. I just want to unthank all of you for incredibly rude and mean and untrue comments about me. There's only like 4 of you who are cool. I hope all of you can one day find peace in your lives rather than bullying people online. Anyway, wish me luck. And then there's another update. We decided that we're going to take a temporary break. I'm broken. Alright, OP. I understand your perspective here. Like, this is actually a really tough situation. It doesn't sound like you're sitting around at home and doing nothing all day, but your fiancé is also putting a great deal of time and energy into keeping the household afloat. You know, the thing is, like, it really depends to me, like, what you're doing with your time. Are you trying to build a writing career? Are you doing freelance work that you're trying to use to kickstart something bigger for yourself? And that you need a lot of time and energy to do it. And how, so it really, to me, depends on what exactly you're doing with your time. Because if it's something that you're trying to use to pursue, like, a career, eventually a career or something to that effect, I can totally understand why you would want to split the chores 50-50. However, from your comments, it doesn't necessarily seem like that's the case, and I think in this particular case, you really should be considering asking your fiancé what they think is a fair split. Because, it sounds like they're doing a lot of hard work, it sounds like they're doing a lot of, supporting the household financially, and it might also not necessarily be work that they enjoy or like, and it might feel like they're pulling more than their weight here by also having to do a large portion of chores. So this situation's tricky. I think that really you probably are the jerk in this situation. I think that you should be probably pulling a little more weight. But again, I would actually really be interested in knowing what you're doing with your time exactly. Because if you're sitting around watching television for 8 hours and then, or playing video games or something that isn't necessarily like meant to advance a career or advance some kind of project, then, I mean, you do say you have projects. So to me, it really depends on what these projects involve and where you're going with them. Are these, again, like books you're going to publish? Because if it's a book you're trying to publish and you're working really hard and you're working 12 hours a day on writing the next, bestseller, yeah, I can understand why you would want to just sit and write and be dedicated to that and feel like you don't have enough time during the day. So, but that also is something that you and your fiance have to work out and figure out what is, what is considered a good compromise in this situation. So, unfortunately, it sounds like you two aren't really working out right now. It sounds like he really feels like he's getting a raw end of the deal. Maybe you two could go to some couples therapy and work some stuff out here. And I don't know. Anyhow, take care. Good luck. I really do hope things work out for you in the end here and that you two can sort things out to be a little more equitable. And yeah. Of course you're the jerk. You're playing all day. Spending more time walking the dog is understandable depending on the breed, as some need more exercise than others. Nobody needs to garden and work out so much that it wasted an entire day unless they're a professional gardener or a fitness trainer. That would bring more value and lessen financial burden than doing it as a hobby. OP better have a botanical garden with all that effort and time. So, I guess also here it depends if she actually has like a vegetable garden and she's growing produce that might be offsetting some of the food cost. It doesn't necessarily sound like that's the case here. Sometimes I feel guilty for browsing Reddit when I should be cleaning, but I do 95% of the chores, take care of 3 kids, and 3 under during the weekdays, and I work weekends. Guess I'm not so bad. OP, I would have been dumped week 1 if I had tried this in my household. You're the jerk for sure. Step up or step out. It's not her fault. She had to walk the dog, do her yoga, and potter around in the garden, and then the day is over. She tried from that. Her husband only worked 12 hours? OP deserves to put her feet up. And then, of course, sarcasm. I prioritize hobbies over housework, but my hubby should prioritize housework over hobbies. Am I the jerk? She needs to spend a long time self-reflecting and growing as a person. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for asking my girlfriend's friend if her accent was fake? Yesterday, I, a 22-year-old male, mixed race, went for lunch with my girlfriend, Rachel, and her friend Alice, who I've never met before. Rachel and Alice are both medical students. Rachel said Alice is really smart and talented, and the two of them often work together. Alice is from London, and Rachel often calls her posh. I thought this was true until Alice started to speak. Alice speaks with a strong London ghetto accent, the kind of thing you would hear in UK rap songs. Nothing against her accent or Alice herself, but it's so weird because she doesn't look how she sounds. She's a white girl, dresses in a really posh style, and is a really smart medical student who is obviously well-spoken, and yet despite that, she speaks with a street accent. I've met quite a few people who try to act like wannabe gangsters and put up on that accent, but Alice, whose style is totally opposite that, so I don't see why she would fake it. Once I felt Alice was comfortable, I jokingly asked her if her accent was real or if she puts it on. Alice got quite offended, and so did Rachel, so I changed the subject. Later, when Rachel and me were alone, Rachel had a massive go at me, asking who I thought I was to be asking a personal question like that. I wasn't trying to be offensive, I just thought it was strange that Alice spoke that way naturally, despite obviously not being a wannabe gangster. Rachel is now not talking to me and wants me to apologize. I get that the question might have made Alice uncomfortable, but I honestly didn't mean any offense by it. Am I the jerk? All right, OP. Why did you need to know the answer to that question? What in your mind made you think, hey, I have a burning desire to absolutely have to have this question answered, and I'm going to ask it. OP, sometimes there are some questions that are best left unasked, and I think this was one of those situations. Why she has this accent isn't important, and it probably wasn't your place to question whether or not she was being genuine or sincere. So yeah, I do think that you're a jerk in this situation. Anyhow, take care and good luck. I've been told I have a surprising mouth on me, because even at 36, I look like a freckled adolescent, harmless Pippi Longstockings, but I grew up in the boonies and my first job was on a construction site. I don't understand why people have expectations for speech from appearance. Yeah. It's really offensive that he's basically is like, she talks ghetto, but dresses well and is smart. Are you serious, OP? Yeah. Don't ever criticize someone's accent, laughter, or smile. It's a sure way to make people feel insecure and self-conscious about something so natural and necessary to express themselves. The thing is also this, intelligence isn't only concentrated in, wealthy places, and that's something that's really important to, note. I'm a fairly well-educated individual. I grew up in an area where I'm sure I don't have necessarily the smartest sounding accent. Accents are an important part of our identities, and if we want to relate to the people in our area or where we grew up, having some form of accent is almost like a way of being accepted into that group. And if you lose your accent, it almost is like you're losing a part of your, heritage or where you're coming from. So I do think that accents are important. And, it's one thing that's unfortunate that's happened here in Maine, for instance, is the Maine accent. There's actually a lot of different Maine accents, but a lot of them have kind of been eroded away over the years because they weren't really considered smart. And people who talked with accents, were considered kind of, lesser intelligence and stuff like that. And I think it's really unfortunate when you view an accent as not sounding dumb, because it's just not true. You can be smart and have an accent, period. So yeah, that's kind of my view here. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.